Hey, hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this Python beginner tutorial series, today let's discuss about Python lists. Right, so this is part one of the Python list video. I have a few other sections as well to discuss about Python lists. But in today's video, let's see a basic introduction about what is Python list and how to work with few basic operations in list. So we will discuss about these at the beginning. All right. So to start with Python list. So what is list? Okay, so as the name indicates, lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. So it's basically a collection type. So where you can store items of multiple items inside a single variable, right? So next point is it is ordered, changeable, and it allows duplicate values. So when I say ordered, order doesn't mean necessarily in sorted order, but when I say ordered, so whenever you insert any item into list, it generally append at the last. So that's what you generally mean ordered. Changeable means you can change the items in this. Once you have declared, you can change it. All right. The reason why we are emphasizing on changeable is because there's another data type called tuple, which is not changeable. So that's why I want to highlight this something. I highlight that list is changeable. It also this is something which allows duplicate values. So there's another type called set which does not allow duplicate values. So I have highlighted list will allow duplicate values as well, right? So moving on, let's discuss about few other operations, basic operations which we can do using Python lists. Okay, so first one is like um, there's a method called length. So with the help of length method, we can actually easily identify what is the length of the actual list. So before going into this length function, let's maybe we will go to our PyCharm and see how a list will look and how we can print a list. Okay, so let me go to my PyCharm. So or let me declare something called list1 equal to let's call let's have a string data type called a comma b comma c comma 1 comma 2. So I wanted to show you that it can hold multiple data type values as well, right? So we have string and integer here. So print list1. So if I run this, yeah, now if you see, like it printed the actual list value a comma b c and 1 comma 2. So this is how a list data type looked. Okay, and what else? If you want to actually identify if it is actually a list data type, what you can do is you can actually use this type operation, which will actually let you know whether the actual variable is a list or not. So now it's showing as class list, so which you can confirm it is actually a list variable, right? So this is very basic declaration of list. Okay, so moving on, next we have something called, yeah, we wanted to discuss about length, right? So if here we can use something called length. There's a length method. If you use this length, you can easily identify the length of the actual list. So we have the length is 5 here, so it displayed you 5. So in case if I add another variable 3, now it will change to 6. Okay, so we have an inbuilt method for inbuilt function called length, which will actually identify the length of a list. So this is something very widely used. So I have highlighted this. Hope you make a note of it. Right, and next thing I just wanted to highlight is I think I have already covered, but just I wanted to emphasize on it because a lot of people get confused around this area. So list items can be of any data type. We can have any data type here. So we have for now we have string, we have integers also. Like we can use other data types as well, other variables like boolean also inside list. Okay, so this is something I just wanted to highlight. Moving on, and the next operation what we will discuss is how to access list items in Python. All right, so now you have a list. Right now you have a list called list1 equal to a comma b comma c 1 2 3. So this is a sample list which we have declared. So now we'll see how we can access this list. Okay, so in real-time programming, you might have maybe a larger number of lists which contains like 20 or 30, like it depends on the actual input you have. So once you have stored all the list, you wanted to access it, right? So how, what and all ways can you access it is something let's discuss, right? So there are three ways which I want to highlight here, like which is like normal indexing, like positive indexing, negative indexing, and a range of index. So let's see all these three one by one. So when I say indexing, like we can so print list one of the indexing starts from 0, right? So we can print 0, 1, 2, 3 elements. So in case if I want to print the third index value, I can give of 3. So our third value is 0, 1, 2, 3 is 1. So it printed me 1. In case if I want to print 1, it will print me B, right? So it printed B. Okay, so this is how you can use the indexing to print the to access the list variable. So similarly, we have something called negative indexing. So negative indexing start from the back reverse. Here the so last value will be your -1. So 3 is our actual last -1 value, right? So it displayed to me 3. Similarly, if I have -3, it will display me 1 because this is 3 is -1, 2 is -2, and 1 is -3. Okay, so we have negative indexing option as well. And finally, we have something called range of indices, which will actually access the elements in particular range, right? So for example, like we can have 2 to 4. So yeah, so what the values from 2 to 4 will be like when I say 2 to 4, it will not include the boundary value, the last value 4. It will actually print the value of 2, 1, 3. So the value of 2, 1, 3 is C and 1. So so this is how you can access list items using range of indices. So if I want to print 2 to 5, it will access and the nearest value 1 comma 2 as well. Okay, so this is how you can use a range of indices to access the elements in the list, right? Moving on to the next topic, change list items. So how do you, so now we should have a list. If I want to change some values in the list, how do I do that? Okay, so so let's have the same list, and for example now we have value a b c, right? So what if I want to change any of the value, like so now I want to change the any value, like say list of 2. So 2 would be C, right? So A was 0, 1, 2. The value of 2 will be C. So if I want to change the C to some other value, say I want to change it to 0. Okay. Now print list 1. Now it changed the value of C to 0. Like now if you see, the new list is A comma B comma 0 comma 1 comma 2 comma 3. So it replaced the value called 0. So this is how you can actually change the items in the list. So you can use that index value and assign the you can use the index number and you can assign that value here. Okay, so this is how you can change the list items. And again, we have something called change range of item values. So if you want to change a range of item values to a particular value, you can change it to you can use this operation as well. So for example, say 2 is to 4 equal to 0 means, so if I run this, oops, 2.4 type error, hold on, type can only assign an iterable. What's the mistake I'm making? 2.4 equal to C. Hold on. I'm not sure what's the error I'm facing here. Let me. What does it say? Type error can only assign an iterable. which means looks like we cannot assign a single value like this to range of indices, because it says as the error clearly says it is like we can assign only an iterable. Okay, so we cannot assign a single value like 0 or 1, something like that. Like we can assign only an iterable variable, like integer value we cannot assign it. Okay, so let's try to assign some maybe string variable, like say let's assign something called d. Okay, so d, now d is replaced here. Okay, so d is replaced in all the range of indices from 2 to 4, like so. C and 1 is now replaced to d. Okay, so this is something you can do. And you can also like pass on multiple values, like say 1 comma, let's assign a different number like 5 comma 6, 6 comma 5. So you can assign multiple range of indices also, so a comma b, like, and 6 comma 5 comma 2 comma 3. So this is something you can also try with the range of indices, right? So moving on, uh, next topic is Python list insert items. Okay, so this is, we have something called an insert method. Okay, so if you want to insert some value at any point of at any part of list, in that situation you can use this insert method. So let's see an example. So let's have the same list, list 1, and if I want to insert it, list 1 dot insert, we have to provide the actual value, like maybe the actual index value, like say 2 comma the actual value, like maybe say f, and print it, print list 1. And now if you see the actual value f is inserted in the in value index value 2, so a comma b comma f. Okay, so f is inserted. Similarly, if you want to insert at any other positions, you can change that also, like if you want to insert at 4, fourth index value, you can insert. So now the value f is now inserted at the fourth index position. Okay, so all right. So yeah, I think these are the very basic operations that we use with the list. Okay, so these are very popular operations we use with list. So we still have few other operations, few other important operations which we want to perform with list. So I will make a separate video for that. So I think yeah, that's all what I want to cover as part of this list part 1 video. In case if you have any questions, please post it to my comment section. I will try to answer as soon as possible. Thank you.